Cek. Oh, udah. Attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. We will soon begin our conference. So, for those who have not been seated, please take your seat. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat because we will soon start our conference. We will start our conference with traditional dance performance. Please welcome our dancer from Sanggar Seni Ligar Mandiri with Cinta Indonesia. Jiwa
Indonesia is the most beautiful land in the universe. The land where we were born, the nation where we grew up. So many colors that live together in peace. With a million timeless treasures, with an abundance of natural wealth. Indonesia is not just wonderful. Indonesia is a wonderland.
Kota baru gunungnya bermegah, bermegah, mana di Samangkaram, mana di Samangkaram. Batamu lawanlah adinda, adinda iman di dadara, Semalaya iman di dadara, Semalaya. Sayang, sayang si patokaan, matego, tego, gorokan. Sayang, sayang, sayang si patokaan, matego, tego, gorokan. Sayang, sajojo, sajojo. Yumadam komi sa papari sa muna 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 keke, sa muna 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 keke. Soleram, 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 anak yang manis, janganlah dicium, sayang kalau dicium, merah pipinya. Kampungan jauh di Mato, Kunwangsan sebaku Liliang, takkan ajo kawan-kawan alamu, sangke basuh yang surya.
Will get us all ready for today's conference. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Resti Meilani. I will be the host for today's conference. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to welcome the head and expert boards from the Center for Nature Studies, Advocacy and Conservation, Pusat Kajian, Advokasi dan Konservasi Alam, Pusaka Kalam. The Dean of Faculty of Forestry and Environment, IPB University, Professor Dr. Dares Moronugroho, the Regional Director, Southeast Asian Island of CIREC, Dr. Jean-Marc Roda, the Deputy for Food and Agribusiness Coordination from the Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Musdalifah Mahmud, MT. All invitees and participants attending this event, both in face-to-face mode in this ballroom and those who attend via Zoom platform. Welcome to the 4th International Conference on Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation. Today, our conference raises the theme of origin of land status, history of land use, and development of plantation land cover. This conference is organized by Pusaka Kalam, the Center for Nature Studies, Advocacy and Conservation, in cooperation with the Faculty of Forestry and Environment, IPB University, and the French Agriculture Research Center for International Development, CIREC. We hold this conference in a hybrid mode, including face-to-face and online meetings through Zoom platform. We would like to acknowledge the role of our sponsors who made this conference possible. Badan Pengelola Dana Perkebunan Kelapa Sawit, BPDPKS, PT Sampurna Agro, Gabungan Pengusaha Perkebunan Kelapa Sawit, GAPKI, ASEAN Agri, French Embassy, Institut Franchise Indonesia, IFI, and Asosiasi Petani Kelapa Sawit Indonesia, APKasindo. Pardon. To start our day, let us pray according to our belief in the Almighty for a fruitful conference. I will read Al-Fatihah for this. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin arrahmanir rahim maliki yaumiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. Amin. May we have a fruitful conference. Amin. Allahumma amin. Well, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to brief us on our agenda. First, we will sing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. And then we will hear the report from the chairman of the organizing committee, greetings from the Deputy for Food and Agribusiness Coordination at the Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs, Republic of Indonesia, and then the greetings from the Dean of the Faculty of Forestry and Environment, IPB University, who would also formally open this conference. Before entering the keynote speaker session, there will be a coffee break, and after the keynote speaker session, we will have a lunch break followed by parallel session 1, another coffee break, parallel session 2, and then we will come to the closing of the conference. You can obtain your certificate at the end of our conference at the reception desk. Well, now, ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to invite you all to stand to sing the Indonesian national anthem, Indonesia Raya. everyone. Now I would like to invite Professor Dr. Santosa, the chairman of the organizing committee of this conference, to present the report. Professor Yanto, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, bonjour, Jean-Marc, et à tous mes amis qui parlent français. Selamat pagi, peace and health always to all of us. Ibu Deputy Kemenkeu Queen, Ibu Musdalifah sedang di Brussels, saat ini akan daring, mudah-mudahan bisa. Pak Dekan, Profesor Nareso Nugroho, the Dean of the Faculty of Forestry and Environmental IPB, Mr. Jongma, Director Sairad Southeast Asia, resource person and presenter, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Our warmest welcome to you to the IPB International Convention Center in Bogor Botanic Square. Thanks to the mighty Lord presence and grace that we are able to be present here at the 4th International Conference on Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation with the theme on origin of land status, history of land use, and development of plantation land cover. Since 2008, Indonesia has become the largest palm oil producer in the world, with a 48% share of the global total volume, with an area of no less than 16.22 million hectares. Oil palm plantation have had multiple positive impacts. Unfortunately, that success has led to the negative accusation that the oil palm plantation originated from the destruction on primary or secondary forests. Natural climate change reported in 2014 that Indonesia lost more than 6 million hectares of primary forests between 2000 and 2012. Furthermore, Wick et al. Reported that the sum of the 9.7 million deforestation occurred between 1997 and 2003 were due to conversion to oil palm. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, although the term of deforestation and acquisition still debated and not yet scientifically valid, these allegations have damaged and negatively impacted Indonesia's position in palm oil global trade. May says 2023 saw the official implementation of the European Union Deforestation Free Regulation, we know UDR. This regulation is designed to ensure that products entering the European Union market are sourced legally and do not cause deforestation. The UDR requires companies in EU member states to ensure that the wood, palm oil, soybean, coffee, cocoa, rubber, and livestock they import or export are not the product of deforested land. This rule mandates that company trace this commodity back to the land where they were produced. In this regard, developing a deforestation verification or verification method system for every oil palm plantation or an palm oil mill, we know as PKS, is essential due to its scientific validity and recognition by European Union countries. One approach is through the stressing of the origin of land status, history of land use, and development of plantation land cover, collaborative research between the Faculty of Forestry and Environmental Collaborative and BPDPKS from 2015 until to 2019, and with GAPKI Jakarta in 2020, have yielded that the scientific validity of data and information about the historical origin status, historical land use, and development of oil palm plantation land cover in various provinces are relatively easy to obtain. To achieve legitimacy both nationally and internationally, it is necessary to have discussion with many experts from different parts of the world with relevant scientific discipline that justify that the fourth ICNREC theme revolving around history of the origin, status, history of the land use, and development of oil palm land cover. Distinguished guests, this interest conference is intended to discuss the controversy surrounding the meaning of deforestation is an objective and scientific manner and formulate a method for verifying, certifying the level of deforestation of an oil palm plantation or an palm oil mill through tracing the history of the origin, status, history of land use, and development of copper oil palm plantation. Additionally, it is anticipated that the European Union will recognize and validate the outcome of discussion held by numerous experts from different regions of the world and other countries to allow palm oil business players to sustainably maintain their CPO export to countries that are a member of the European Union. The collected paper from this conference will be published in the EUP proceeding indexed by Scopus. Distinguished guests, this intra-conference will feature 6 keynote speakers from diverse countries, USA, France, Netherlands, Indonesia, and 28 presenters, most of whom are staff or students of IPB University, BRIN, University of Bengkulu, UNS, Utadulako, Khairun, and Unis Mataram Lombok. According to the conference theme, the keynote speaker and presenters will communicate concept and or debate the significance of deforestation, the origin of land status, the history of land use, and the development of land cover type before they were converted into oil palm plantation. Additionally, a proposal for a concept for measuring the level of deforestation of PKS will also be put forward. We express our gratitude and appreciation to all of the leadership of BPD-PKS, PT Sampurna, PT Asian Agri, GAPKI Jakarta, Shirad, France Embassy, and IFI, and Apkasindo for their financial support. We acknowledge the Deputy of the Coordinating Minister of Economic Affairs and the Dean of the Faculty of Forestry and Environment IPB University who have been support of our event and will officially open this conference. We also would like to express our gratitude and appreciation to all of the speakers and participants who are present and played an active role in the success of this event. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestow upon you double reward. Amin. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Yanto. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Ibu Dr. Musdalifah has some problems joining us through Zoom platform. So please allow us, without being disrespectful to her, to continue to move on into the formal opening of this conference. And for this, I will invite the Dean of Faculty of Forestry and Environment, IPB University, Professor Dr. Nariswara Nugroho. Professor Nariswara, the time is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, best wishes to all of us, distinguished guests, especially Deputy for Food and Agribusiness Coordination, Coordinating Ministry of Economic Affairs of the Republic Indonesia, Ibu Dr. Insinyur Musdalifah Mahmud, that still in Brussels now. Second is Regional Director Southeast Asia Island, Sairat, Dr. Jain Mahroda. Thank you for your coming. The Chairman of Pusaka Alam and expert of Council of the Center for Nature Conservation Studies and Advocacy. The keynote speakers, we have 6 keynote speakers today. Dr. Elias Sineras from Texas, Dallas, USA, Dr. Prayudi Samsuri, Dr. Jain Makroda from Sirat, Senior Bart W. Van Assen from Kayon, thank you for your coming, Senior Petrus Gunarso, MSc, PhD, thank you, sir, and also Professor Dr. Insinyur Yanto Santosa from IPB University. And also the presenters, the moderators, the attendees, and all participants, both in online, in Zoom meeting, and offline in this room. Welcome to the city of Bogor. It doesn't feel like this is the first international conference, it's already the 4th. We would like to express our thanks to the Center for Study, Advocacy and Nature Conservation, the Pusaka Alam and Friends Agriculture Research Center for International Development, SIRAT, who have faithfully support and collaborated with the Faculty of Forestry and Environment, IPB University, to organize this international conference on natural resources and environmental conservation activity every year. Starting from the first conference with the theme of impact of oil palm plantation on physical and chemical environment, biodiversity, and local socio-economic. The second conference is the theme is industrial forests and oil palm plantation fires, impacts and valuation of the environmental losses. The third conference will take the theme of optimizing the roles of biodiversity in improving the economics and ecological aspect of oil palm plantation. And the fourth today is the theme is origin of land status, history of land use and development of plantation land cover. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as a higher education institutions, we are very concerned about the problems that challenges of palm oil in Indonesia, because we believe that palm oil is one of God gift and must receive proper attention from all components of the nations, including governments, business, academia, community, and also media. Since 2008, Indonesia has become the largest palm oil producer in the world, with a contribution of 48% of the total volume of palm oil production in the world. with an area of not less than 16.32 million hectare, 56% of which is private and state-owned, while the rest is community oil palm plantations. Oil palm plantations have provided various positive impacts, including generating foreign exchange, overcoming the problem of poverty in rural areas, opening unemployment opportunities, and also absorbing labor and various other positive effects. The fourth international conference today was chosen in connection with the publication of the European Union Deforestation Free Regulation, or AUDR. These regulations aims to ensure that products entering the European Union market come from legal sources and do not cause deforestation. As a higher education institutions, we feel called to find solutions, especially regarding the proposed method or due diligence required by the European Union for exporters, especially palm oil products and other products. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, from 2016 to 2020, we have carried out various research through collaboration between the Faculty of Forestry and Environment IPB University with BPD PKS and also with GAPKI regarding history of the origin of status, history of use and development of land cover or point palm plantation in various provinces, including South Sumatra, West Kalimantan, Central Kalimantan, and West Sulawesi. So, regarding the demand of this methodology, our team has several views which will later be conveyed by Professor Yanto Santosa in one of his presentation. As an academic, of course, this method must be scientifically valid. On the other hand, it must receive recognized by various groups and stakeholders. That is why it is hoped that in this forum, apart from discussing the meaning of deforestation, which is still debatable, and the proposed methodology will be also discussed. Finally, we also do not forget to express our gratitude to the chairman of the committee and the entire committees for the dedication and hard work that has been shown in organizing this international conference. Also to all sponsors that support this conference will be happen. Ladies and gentlemen, by saying Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially open this fourth international conference, and I hope this conference can be useful and fruitful for all of us. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Professor Nariswara. Ladies and gentlemen, regretfully, Ibu Musdalifah seems to be still unable to join us from Zoom platform. So we will just continue to the keynote speaker session. In this keynote speaker session, there will be 6 speakers, and 2 of the speakers will give online presentations. This session will be chaired by Professor Dr. Hairil Anwar Siregar. Before inviting him onto the stage, I will read to you his brief curriculum vitae. Professor Riset Dr. Hairil Anwar Siregar, Master of Science. He works at the Research Center for Ecology and Ethnobiology. His email, you can read in front. He obtained his PhD in 1995, majoring in soil science, minoring in forestry from the Department of Plant and Soil Sciences, Mississippi State University, Mississippi, USA. And he obtained his Master of Science degree in 1990 from the Department of Agronomy from the same university. He is currently Principal Scientist on Forest and Soil Conservation, National Institute of Research and Innovation, Indonesia, and he was Principal Scientist on Hydrology and Soil Conservation from Ministry of Forestry Indonesia from 2008 to 2020. His work includes, but not limited to, working on rehabilitation of degraded land due to gold mining activity, Forest and Nature Conservation Research and Development Center, Bogor, working on Indonesia Intensive Selective Cutting and Planting System, Intensive Silviculture Technique, Directorate General of Sustainable Forest Management, Ministry of Environment and Forestry, and working on High Conservation Value Forest, Forest and Nature Conservation Research and Development Center, Bogor. I would like to invite Professor Dr. Hairil Anwar to the stage to chair this session. The forum is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning dan selamat pagi. Salam sejahtera buat kita semua. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for assigning me to manage this very interesting morning sessions. And I believe this is morning time. Every one of us still full of the energy. You already have coffee and tea. Besides, outside we have a nice weather, sunny, but a little bit breezy. So I believe that everyone is ready to listen to the presentations. I would say the topic is a little bit warm when things dealing with oil palm and when the positions of oil palm plantations is in the adjacent to the forestry sites. So welcome to see and listen and discuss later on a very warm topic. Having said that, I would like to invite all the keynote speaker to come forward. I have right here, correct me if I'm wrong to pronounce your name, Dr. Jan Mayroda. Did I pronounce your name right? Please come to the stage and accompany me later to sit on the stage. And then I would like also to call Dr. Petrus Gunarso, very old friend, to come here. And next, Professor Yanto Santoso. And then Dr. Bart Asen. Did I pronounce, help me to pronounce your name. Which one is Dr. Bart? Bart. Mana dia? Oh, okay. All right. Okay then, there is a little bit change in the agenda. I was informed that two of the prominent speakers will present their materials through online presentations. And the other four, we have it right here in this room. And the first speaker will be Dr. Elias. He's going to present it online, right? Sorry. Okay. Should I read his CV, right? Okay. Very brief CV of Dr. Elias. Dr. alias Cisneros, I hope I pronounced it right. Okay. He graduated from University of Bonn in 2017 and also graduated from University of Freiburg in 2011. His employment history: assistant professor, the University of Texas at Dallas School of Economics, and then visiting scholar, the University of Texas at Austin, Department of Geography and the Environment. And then he was postdoctoral researcher, Collaborative Research Center, Ecological and Socioeconomic Functions of Tropical Lowland Rainforest Transformation System. Some of his publications is about impacts of conservation incentive in protected areas, the case of Bolsa Floresta in Brazil. And the other interesting publication is palm oil and the politics of deforestation in Indonesia. So without any further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Elias to present your material, and time is yours. We are going to have around 15 minutes, Dr. Elias. Yeah, we can hear you.
First of all, thank you very much, Professor Siregar, for the introduction. Thank you very much, Professor Sosa and Professor Goro to invite me to this keynote, to this conference. Thank you very much, ICNREC and CIRAC, and all very delighted to talk to you. So if there's any question, if you cannot, or you need something, please just let us know. Maybe we can address it later on. So my apologies also for not being physically there. I hope the connection holds and we can talk about my topic. So here you see a typical situation where some land use change has replaced the natural habitat. The satellite image where you see most probably the start of earth-time plantation. And this replacement of natural habitat has had an impact on ecological and social structures globally. So what I want to talk to you about today is a little bit on the impact of social.
I'm sorry for interrupting, Dr. Elias. We cannot see your screen from the Zoom. Yeah. Yeah, it's a blank white screen only. Yes, we can only see a blank screen, like a white blank screen. Is it supposed to be white and blank or? Right. Ah, yes. It's good now. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, thank you.
Zoom up there. So, all right. Anyway, so what you can see here is the picture distribution where all our plantations have replaced natural cover. And evidently this has a major impact on local structures, ecologically and socially. Right? So what I wanted to talk to you about today is how OSRD has led to an increase in social conflict in the movement. So
Thank you, Dr. Elias. I give you more than 15 minutes actually, since this is a very interesting topic and you are presenting it from far away, so you have the exceptions. Thank you. Then. Would you please stay tuned there, right? Because we are going to wrap up all the presentation and then come up with the discussion later. Yeah. Well, our next presentations will be delivered by Dr. John Mark Roda. Time is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. We are checking that the slide is coming. The connection is made. I see that. Let's wait a bit for the staff, the technical people to resolve the technical issue. It is coming. Perfect. So I gave my laptop to the colleagues there on the table, and my laptop has so many stuff open at the same time. It's a bit taking time. It's heavy. It will come. If you can play on the play, yeah, you have a button play. That's that one. It should come. Yes. So, my title is a sentence. I believe, and I will going to share with you, that the key to address the questions of land use and deforestation, of course, which is behind that in Indonesia, is to first understand the land laws in Indonesia. You see an avalanche of scientific papers, remote sensing, economic analysis, papers using any kind of data, surveys. Also, even we can have newspapers and so on. But you have very seldomly a reference to the situation of the land laws and the complexity of the land laws on the land, which helps to understand the situation. So without the land laws, I dare to say that every scientific paper is speculation as long as it is not confronted to the situation of the land law and the extrapolation that we should do. That's a bold claim, but we are going to check together, and it's open to your criticism, if my bold claim is so bold or not. So what you have here is a visualization of Indonesia landmass. It's a big landmass. Next. So I made a few animation. If you put together all that landmass, this is the whole landmass in one circle all together, not anymore in the form of the archipelago. So it's a synthesis. Next. Let's see what is the land use in Indonesia. So we start by the land use, and after that we are going to see the land cover, because the debate is always coming between the difference between land cover and land use, and the interpretations that are in between that. So first, what is the land use in Indonesia? That's it now. So you have more or less 36% of the land of Indonesia that is under the Basic Agrarian Act. Basically, this is agricultural land. So this land use is agriculture. You have about 64%, which is under the Forestry Act. By tradition, and it comes from 200 years ago, the ancestor of the Forestry Act, already under the Dutch rule, is a land tenure and land law system which is way stronger, much way stronger than the Agrarian Act. It's so strong that it is easy to pass laws and to have to create new tools on the forestry land and to create landscape management. This is in the process right now. In the agricultural land, the law is much more complex because you have many owners. In the Forestry Act, what is under the Forestry Act, you have only one owner, is the state of Indonesia. In the agrarian system, in the agrarian law, you have millions of owners, so it makes it complicated. You have one further complication is people come into the forest, settle down in the land that is under the state forest, that belongs to the state, and later on, after generations, claim it is their land. So ownership issue. So that creates also a debate and conflict and a disagreement between people. But before to go that, let's zoom on the land law under the Forestry Act. This is a land law that is very clear. You have several uses of the land. First one is, next, conservation. Part of the land is devoted absolutely to conservation. No human activity except the rangers that come to check, and cannot be built anything there. Cannot cultivate anything there. The next land use is protection. Protection appears when you have a forest cover that creates a watershed, and the watershed creates water quality, and the water quality is going to feed the people that are downstream, for example. So that's the protection, or protection against erosion. It's different from conservation. The next land use is production. This is forest, or land for forest, where the aim is for the state to produce an income by exploiting the land under forestry regime, under the forestry law regime. And then you have conversion. Conversion is interesting. It means from the beginning, from the act, the law of Indonesia explicitly plans that some part of the land that is today forest will be converted to agriculture. So even if you have today forest on it, it's already future agriculture. So it's another complication. Because if I do a remote sensing of that, if I do my remote sensing on the conservation land, and I see that there is forest encroachment, forest deforestation basically, I can ring the alarm bell. Something is happening. If I ring the alarm bell and what I am looking at as deforestation is under conversion land legally, I am claiming something false. It's not deforestation. It is conversion that is legally planned already, sometimes decades ago. I may like it or not, as a scientist, as an NGO, as a person, as an individual, but it is legal. If I want to claim that, I go to court. I don't go anywhere else than that. The next one is we are going to see together what is the land cover. And you are going to see that, oh, surprise, it doesn't match exactly. So that's why we have debates. Next one. So first you have the primary forest. And you see that, unfortunately, for the conservation forest, not 100% of what is conservation is under primary forest, only a part. Next. Secondary forest, plantation forest, and non-forest. So you realize that, oh, you're going a bit too fast. That's perfect. You realize that even in conservation forest, it is already encroached. And if you look carefully, you have already many people who came by themselves. Because sometimes they came there generations ago, it was Sumatra, it was Kalimantan, nobody was there, no rangers there to forbid them. They put their house, they settled, they put their land. And now, 3, 4 generations after, you have people and they say, this is my land, this is where I do my agriculture. And you have agriculture, but on the paper, it is a land that is devoted to pure protection, pure forest protection. So first, disagreement, if I can say. In protection, you see the same. You see primary forest, you see secondary forest. Next. Plantation forest, that will be also not so much. Next, yeah. And non-forest, the agriculture zone. So that's interesting. You see that the conservation forest today is conserved because you have less encroachment in terms of primary forest, not in terms of the rest, in the conservation than in the protection in general. That's interesting, that's a good sign. That means whatever is happening on the field, Indonesia is able to protect its most protectable land, which is the protection forest. It is able to protect it better than the protection land. And you see it's not perfect because it depends on the team on the field, and you may have teams that have plenty of cars and computers and drones when they are in Java, not far from the capital, but when they are at the end of the country, it can be more difficult. So that explains the percentages of difference. If you look at the production, that's very logical. You see much less primary forest in the production. You see much more secondary forest, that's the next one. You see also a bit of plantation forest. And again, next one, you see the non-forest, the agriculture that is there. So here what is very interesting, it is devoted to production. And it's normal that you see the most of the area that is secondary forest. By definition, a productive forest is not anymore a primary forest. It is either a planted forest or a secondary forest that will, if the management, if, it's a big if, but if the management plan is done as it should be done, it should be sustainable. The next land use compared to cover is the conversion. So you see that not everything is converted yet. So you still have primary forest that will be converted in the future. Same in secondary forest. Next one, same in plantation, a little bit of plantation only, and then all the rest is agriculture. Next one. Yeah. So that's the part where you have the most of agriculture, because that's what it does. It is converted to agriculture. Now the story is just beginning. If you look at the agricultural land use, if you look at the Agrarian Act, you will see that you have forest there as well. Next one. That is primary forest. You have a sizable quantity, million hectares of primary forest still on what is already classified as agriculture. They will go one day. So that will create conflict if people do remote sensing without to refer to the law. And if they don't know that this land is under the plan to be converted. It can be disputed any time. The law can be changed. That's the life of the Indonesian people and their government. All of this can evolve, but this is the state of today. Next one, we see that we have still a lot of secondary forest, and next one, bit of plantation. And all the rest, next one, is agriculture. So if you click once more, you will see the palm oil. I did put the palm oil on that map, and you realize that most of the palm oil is on the agricultural land, converted as agriculture, but a bit of palm oil is on where forest is legally supposed to be forest, not to be palm oil. And this is also mostly, if not uniquely, I have to be cautious on that, I would say mostly, the case of smallholders who encroach the land of the state land once they are here, and then they plant palm oil because they are not stupid. It's among the plantation they can do as a smallholders, if they are independent smallholders, palm oil is the most profitable in most of the cases. That's not the end of the story. Next one. There is another process which is still in process as well. In Bahasa, the Tanah Obyek Reforma Agraria, the TORA. We are in pre-election time. In every election time, the TORA has some energy back again. So we come back to it. And what is the TORA? Next one. The TORA is a law, a reform on the agrarian law that allow agencies, political parties, associations to go on the field and to dispute the fact that this land is under the forest. And for example, you have a land that is on the paper under forest, but you have many villagers already installed there for generations, and you can show, you have plenty of criteria. It's complex, criteria. I will not delve on that, but the criteria show that undoubtedly you can say that this land has been used for agriculture for many, for a long time and generations, and there is no danger that if you convert it now, you will damage more forestry. So then you have the legal tool to convert that is forest on the paper into agriculture. That's basically the spirit of the Torah. And what's happening? The next animation shows you, puff, 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 puff. You have small patches that are going to be taken into the forest land law to become agricultural land law. And it happens there, tack, 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 tack. You know, it's like a little bit of patchwork. So this is happening all the time. The range of Torah should be more than 4 million hectares and less than 5 million hectares, something around those quantities. 4.9, almost 5 million. So this is exactly what should be the size of all the patch when the process is finished. So it is on process. So we have to have that in mind as well, because again, I am doing remote sensing and I see a little patch like this. I will claim that it is deforestation. I will be unhappy. I have to check whether this is something that is happening under the Torah process. It is very important because Torah process follows laws. You have months of, for months, it can take up to 1 year. People are checking whether all the criteria are met, whether it's not land grabbing, whether it's not force using, and so on and so on. So it's long, and it also involves land swapping. So if you take a land from the forest, you should give back another land to the forest. So it's also complex. So, but this is adding to the complexity. At this stage, you start to see that even with the precise law, you have some fuzziness into what is forest and what is not forest. So I am not going to delve into scientific confidence interval calculation. It's not the day today, but we have a situation where we have a lot of uncertainty at many levels, and if we are proper good scientists, they are very strong, and the same method for every scientist, be the scientist, be an economist, a social scientist, or airplane aerospace scientist. We compute those uncertainties, and those uncertainties propagate to each other. So you have a propagation of uncertainties. If we don't take that into account, we cannot understand what is happening. And our result that we are observing, let's say I always was giving, if I am the example of if I am a remote sensor, I do this, I have my little square of my satellite picture. Is this entering in my uncertainty level, the scientific one of the remote sensing itself, but also the one deriving from all those legal complexities? I have to know that before I interpret in one direction or the other direction. So this is why we scientists, we always come back to the fact and the proper interpretation according to the proper information. So the next one is, what are the tools that we can have to better manage that complexity? Indonesia has already created the tools, which is little known. It is devoted to bring governance to the landscape level. The name of this tool is KPH, Kesatuan Penggiliran Hutan. It is a management unit of the forest. And the spirit of the KPH is an agency that brings governance to the landscape, that brings public services to the people, including the farmers who are encroached in the forest. This KPH is a tool, next one, that is, next one, working on those land use that we have seen and those land cover. What do you have? You have the KPH-K that is devoted to manage the places where you have pure conservations. So some units are purely managing conservations. Some units are purely managing protections that the KPH held, the Lindung. You have units managing the production when you produce wood. In most of them, you have also a classification of the different places of the forest within the KPA, what is the use of that forest, including perrotanant social. That is very important because when an area is classed by the KPA under perrotanant social, it's not producing wood anymore. It can be a group of villages, and the hasil, the value that is extracted should be from agriculture or non-wood products. So it is a de facto acceptance of we are in the forest, we manage the forest, but this forest is a social forestry, we are going to do agriculture with the people. Why it is so? It is not a weakness, it is a strength of the state, because the state says these people are disorganized. When you're disorganized, you go to eat like termites everywhere. If the KPA is bringing them service, they will bring them service to better sell their gula aren, their sugar from palm, their fish, whatever product that they will produce. The KPA will act a bit like a cooperative, will give advices and help. It will create revenue both for the people and for the KPA. With this revenue, the KPA will be able to both reinforce the management of the rest of the forest, but also to secure the farmers who are there, to secure them in their use, and it becomes harmonious. And the whole together is a landscape management. And when it is functioning, basically, the KPA is a way to bring the service, the power of the government at the level of the people living on the ground in the forest. So such tools are extremely important. Again, let's remember the KPA is a tool to bring governance at the landscape level and to bring public services to people. We always forget that. So when we do our remote sensing, are we in a KPA that is well functioning? Or are we in a KPA that is not yet functioning? Or are we in a KPA that is very young and still has not found its revenue? All of this is a process. All of this is critical to the interpretation of what is happening. Next one. The major challenges beyond making about 600 KPA fully functional, because the first challenge is that Indonesia is about 600 KPA. Today, there are 50, 60 that are fully functional. To go to the 600, it's a long way. Especially because the government doesn't have money to make all those KPA with the money to be functional. They have to derive the money from themselves. So it takes time to find the ways to do that, to do this, and to do this sustainably. That's a challenge. But beyond that challenge, the next big and huge challenge is also to create a similar landscape management tool in the land where only the agrarian, sorry for the typo, only the agrarian act applies. So in the agricultural land where you have no forest law, you cannot have a KPA, and you have many, many owners. The real challenge is to create similar tools that help people to manage their landscape at a collective level, but devoted to them in such agrarian land law. So that is my concluding words. Thank you very much for looking to the little animations. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jan. So we learn from him that